Hi, I'm Amber with Little King Art, and today I'm going to show you how to make a macrame necklace. What you are going to need is some leather. It can be suede leather, it could be a vegan leather cord, just like a nice sturdy cord, about 1.5 yards long. You will need around 6 to 10 cords of macrame that are each about 1.5 yards long. And today I'm using a cord that's about 4 millimeters, or actually 5 millimeters thick, but you can also go as small as 3 or 4 millimeters thick. You'll need scissors and tape, and beads are optional. First, you're gonna take your necklace and you're gonna take one cord at a time and make a lark's head knot. So you take your cord, you fold it in half like that, bring it over the necklace and fold it, and then see this loop? Put your fingers through that loop and pull the cords through that loop, and that is your lark's head knot. Take another cord, fold it in half, bring it over and then under, fold it on your necklace cord, put your fingers through that loop and pull the tails through. So I'm gonna speed it up, and you're gonna keep adding your cords until it's at the desired width. You can make it a little skinnier, so you would only need about 4 to 6, or you can make it wider where you would need about 8 to 10. But I do recommend doing an even number. Okay, I have my desired amount of cords on my necklace. For this one, I'm only using 6 because my cord is a little thicker. Again, you can use as many or as little as you like. And now we're gonna tape our necklace to the table. If you want to avoid picking up any residue off of your necklace, I like to take my piece of tape and I'll stick it to like my pant leg one time, and then I'll tape it down. It kind of gets rid of a little bit of the tackiness, the stickiness of the tape. So I'm sticking it on my pant leg and then I just peel it off, and that kind of helps prevent it from pulling up any residue. Now, sometimes, and you don't want to push too hard on the necklace too, just in case. Try to be a little gentle. You could also use a clipboard if you wanted to for this purpose. All right, so now the first step is to make a row of square knots along the top. To make a square knot, you need 4 cords. Now, technically these are 2 cords, right? But now they have doubled because we folded them over. So we're gonna call these 4 cords. I'm gonna start on the left, move all these out of the way. We have our A, B, C, and D cord. The B and C cords stay in the middle. They just lay there. The A and the D cord do all the work. You take your A cord and you fold it over B, over C, and under D. Note that I put it under the D cord, and it makes a nice number 4 shape. Now you take the D cord. Notice how I'm taking the ends of the cords. I find it's easier to work with that way. The D cord is gonna go under this A right here, under the B and C, and over the A. So it kind of goes up and under the B and C, and then bring it over the A. Then you pull the sides until you can't pull it anymore. Then you hold the B and C and push the cords up, and then pull the sides. Notice how I'm going back and forth. Pull the sides, push it up, pull the sides, push it up until you just feel a little bit of tension and it can't go up anymore. That's just half of your square knot. For the other half, you're gonna reverse what we just did. You take your D cord goes over the B and C, but under the A. So my D chord makes a backwards 4. It went over the B and C and under the A. Now I'm going to take my A chord and it's going to go under this D here, under the B and C, and then bring it back over the D. You pull the sides and push it up, pull the sides and push it up. That is how you make a basic square knot. You'll go to the next 4 and go ahead and make another square knot. Okay, so I'm gonna finish up this square knot, and then I'm gonna make another square knot here, and then I'll show you how to connect the knots. Okay, I've made my first full row of square knots. Now, if you did something like 10 cords, you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knots across the top. I only have 3 because I only use 6 cords. So it just depends on how many cords you use, but make sure you make a full row of square knots all across the top. Now we need to join these gaps in between, otherwise they're never going to be connected. So I like to omit these 2 cords on the left and these 2 cords on the right. Don't worry, they will come back in later. Now you can just take your next 4 cords. Another way to look at it is you borrow the C and D chord from your first square knot and the A and B chord from your second square knot, and now this is your A, B, C, and D, and you're gonna make a square knot to join. And it brings those knots together. I'll go ahead and make one in the next 4. And then you're going to want to join the next row down. Now I'm making a triangle. You do not have to make a triangle, but I'll get to that in just a minute. To make an upside down triangle, for the next row to join these 2 knots, we're gonna omit the 2 outsides again. They will come back later. And now we'll make another square knot. Now at this time, you could call it a day. You could be done if you like the size of this. Let's say you want your triangle to come down a little bit more, or maybe you don't want it to be a triangle and you want it to be more of like a rectangle or square. So what you would do, again, you could just be done with this. I think this looks great. But let's say I would like it a little longer. So we have to add more knots. So I have a row of 3, a row of 2. So in the third row, I need to mirror what I did in the first row. So I have 3 and 2, and I want to do one more row of 3. So here are my 4 cords on the side. Make a square knot with those 4. And then take the other 4 that have not been used and make another square knot. Now I have a row of 3, a row of 2, a row of 3. Maybe you have a row of 5, 4, and 5, something, and so on. But it makes it a little bit longer. And now I need to join these knots again. So I'm gonna omit these 2 and make a square knot here. If you're having a hard time backtracking like we just did, adding those extra knots, you could just take out that row and just go ahead and do a row of, do your rows here of 3, 2, and 3, or however many knots you are making in your particular necklace. Okay, now I need to join these in between here, so I omit the next row of 2 on each side. I'm gonna make my final square knot, and I do like the length of this. So now I will show you how to bring all these cords back in. We're gonna do what's called a double half hitch knot. Oh, I love this. So you bring all your cords in. These 2 outside cords are gonna be your guiding cord. They literally are gonna guide all of these other cords to make this double half hitch knot. So I'm gonna take this cord first on the left, bring it at a diagonal, and it's gonna stay there while all of these other cords wrap around it. If you have a hard time remembering which cords are your guiding cords, there are these 2 on the outside. Get some colorful tape and tape them on the end so you know all these do is just lay there in the direction that you want your knots to wrap. So I take my first cord, it goes over my guiding cord, and then bring it around and under, and I'm gonna pull it through this hole to the left while pulling my guiding cord to the right. And then we want to make this little loop. Kind of feels like when you're first starting to tie your shoe. Bring this back over and under and pull it through that hole while holding the guiding cord at this angle because we want it to go at an angle. So that's just 2, that's a double half hitch. Let's do the next one. It goes over, back and under, pull it through the hole. One more time, it goes over, under, and pull it through that hole to the left while holding my guiding cord to the right. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed it up and do it all the way to this cord because you want it to be perfectly in half, and then I'll show you how to do the right side. Okay, now we've done the left side. I'm gonna show you how to do the right side. This time you take your guiding cord to the left, and all of your cords will wrap around to the right. So I'm holding my guiding cord, I wrap this cord around and it goes under, and then pull it to the right while pulling this cord to the left. So you've got your guiding cord, and then you take your other cord, it comes back, and then bring it around and under, whoops, through that hole. Pull it to the right. Do it one more time. Goes up, under, bring it around through the hole. And that is your double half hitch knot. You might find that you favor one side over the other. That's totally normal. It might take a few practices. I know it took me definitely a hot minute to learn. Okay, and now you have your 2 guiding cords and you join them. Honestly, I look and see where it's higher. So it's a little higher up here, so I want to make some extra knots there. So I take one guiding cord, stays guiding cord, while the other, you wrap it around. Okay. Then you're gonna trim it at your desired length. I've done a couple of things, like on this one, I kept it long, I cut it straight across. This one, I've cut it short, and then I angled it and I frayed it. So honestly, it is a personal preference. For now, I'm just gonna trim it straight across, and I'll decide if I want to trim it or any more or fray it. To fray it, you'll simply untwist it, and you can take a comb and brush it out. Take off your tape. You can add beads if you would like. If If you're lucky, they'll fit just so. If not, you might have to get a needle to thread your beads. It depends on your cord and your bead size. If you'd like, you can tie some knots so your beads don't slide around. Okay. Just doing a basic overhand knot here. And then I'm gonna show you two different ways that you can finish your necklace. It depends on how long your cord is and how long you want your necklace. You could tie a bow, so then that way you can always adjust it shorter or longer when you wear it. Or if you already know exactly the length you want it, which I definitely encourage you to try it on, you can also compare it to a length of a necklace that you already like. And then tie it up at that point. But all you do is an overhand knot. Those are the two simplest ways to finish your necklace. Trim it. And now you have a macrame necklace.